Hey, it's me. Today I have filmed a video that I have been wanting to film for such a long time now. I just needed to pick up a few things to make it happen. And I'm talking about a Charlotte Tilbury one brand tutorial. So I have done my makeup with all Charlotte Tilbury products today with the exception of 3 things, I believe. Don't hate me too bad. I feel like they're not things that are do or die when considering if you're going to purchase Charlotte Tilbury or not. But this is very ironic for me because my first ever encounter with Charlotte Tilbury products was an absolute disaster. When she started coming onto the makeup scene, I remember loving her tutorials and immediately going on her website and ordering quite a few things. And from that initial order, I think I ordered 5 or 6 things. I returned everything but her Pillow Talk lip liner, which is actually still to this day one of my favorites. But I remember being so defeated because I loved all of her makeup looks and her tutorials, and none of the products I ordered worked for me. And then I did one more shot. If you guys remember, a couple of years ago, I filmed a video entitled Giving Charlotte Tilbury Another Chance, and almost every single thing I ordered from that Charlotte Tilbury haul was a complete success. And from that point on, I feel like I have totally been on the Charlotte Tilbury makeup game. So this is the look that I created with all of my Charlotte Tilbury products. I am obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with her. I'm obsessed with how she does makeup, how it's so old school and classic and not overdone and it always looks just freaking amazing. So this is the look. We're doing Charlotte Tilbury one brand. Let's get started. All right, super excited for today's video, and to start things off, I'm going to be using one of the newer products that Charlotte has released, and it's called the Hollywood Flawless Filter. I have been wanting this before it even came out. When I started seeing her using this on people on her Instagram, I was like, yes, please, must have in my life. So basically the Flawless Filter is a multitasking product. You can use it as a primer. You can use it after you've applied your makeup as a highlighter. You can mix it in with your foundation. I'm going to use it as a primer and also as a skin highlight after I get my foundation on, just because I haven't used it that way yet. I've only had this for 3 or 4 days now. Charlotte Tilbury just came to my Nordstrom. So it just says all over the face as a flawless filter or on top of foundation if you want extra coverage. Now, I have not found that this product has coverage, in my opinion, and I have not developed a full opinion on it yet. It does have a slight tint to it. By the way, I am number 3, light medium. That's what the girl suggested to me, so that is what I got. And I do love the applicator. I am digging the Doe Foot Application trend right now. So I've just kind of randomly dotted it all over, and I'm just going to blend out with my fingers. This is how the girl actually applied it on me at the Charlotte Tilbury counter, and I didn't have any makeup on, so I was able to see what it looked like. And I will say it does look really nice and healthy, but I can think of a couple products off the top of my head that give me a similar look to this. So, yeah, I'm still kind of, developing an opinion on it right now, but it's very lovely. As you can see, I am highlighted to the gods right now. Moving into quite possibly one of my favorite Charlotte Tilbury products, it is the Light Wonder Youth Boosting Perfecting Skin Foundation. I've said it several times, if I could be a foundation, this would probably be it, because it just has what I would consider to be my perfect amount of coverage and also finish. It's very youthful looking. It has a nice light medium coverage to it, and I am just obsessed with it. I almost always wear the shade number 4. I can get away with it in the wintertime and in the summertime. So I just apply about this much on the back of my hand. And since it's summertime, I'm going to incorporate another Charlotte product that I really do love. I raved about this all last summer. It's called the Unisex Healthy Glow All Year Hydrating Summer Tint Moisturizer. So again, if you're not really familiar with Charlotte's products, I personally feel like she's a big fan of multitasking, and this is another product that you can use for multiple things. You can use it alone, you can mix it in with foundation, you can make a tinted moisturizer out of it. Basically, it's a moisturizing formula. It comes out white, and then once you rub it into your skin, it gives you this bronze tint like you've, just been out in the sun. And it also has the claim that it makes your skin look a little bit more blurred, almost just like your skin but better, and I'll have to agree that it does do that. So what I like to do in the summer is actually just add a couple drops of this into my foundation. Nothing crazy. As you can see, it is white, and then once you blend it in, it actually turns into this really nice tan formula. So just gonna mix that in and apply my foundation with my fingers. And then I normally like blending out Light Wonder with a brush. So I'm just going to take my favorite foundation brush at the moment, which is the blurring foundation brush from Smashbox, and I'm just going to buff this in. I mean, most of the time I apply this foundation with a brush since it does have more of a light medium coverage to it. I feel like this gives me optimal results, the most coverage, I guess. But if you are a beauty blender person, I don't see any problem with applying this product with a BB. This is everything I could possibly want and need in a foundation, and I cannot recommend this enough. If you are more on the oily side, if you have acne-prone skin and you struggle with maybe breakouts, Light Wonder may not be the foundation for you, but she does have Magic Foundation, which I feel like is definitely geared more towards that type of skin. I just have to say I'm not a huge fan of it for me personally, but I know a lot of people do really like it. So moving on, I'm going to take the Charlotte Tilbury Retoucher Pen, and this is also a daily favorite of mine. It is a pretty lightweight concealer. It is called Retoucher for a reason. It's just something that you can cover minor imperfections with, to brighten your skin with. I wouldn't say that it's anything heavy duty. Like I said, I really like it for daily wear. It will cover spots, small spots. I'm trying to think how to word this. It will cover small spots, but if you do deal with bigger breakouts or even maybe scarring, you might just want to go with, more of your heavy duty concealer. Personally, I like this product because I think that it pairs really nicely with the Light Wonder foundation, and it does not crease on me. It has a really nice finish to it, and I never find that it looks crepey on my skin or that it really settles into my fine lines. All right, so I am preparing myself to be bashed by the Charlotte Tilbury lovers out there, the fellow Charlotte Tilbury lovers out there, because personally, I couldn't believe that I wasn't a huge fan of this product myself, but I have owned her Airbrush Powder in the past. I actually handed it down to my mother to see what she thought about it. And I just have to say that I was not committed. I could not get on board with it. It is a pretty expensive powder. I want to say it's in the $40 range, and I just didn't feel like it did much for me. But I have to say, almost every single person that I talked to that's tried it loves it. My mom said she didn't have a problem with it, so, it might just be me. So I'm not going to be using that today. I actually don't have it. Like I said, I gave it to her. But just to make sure I don't, alter the foundation too much for you guys to see the end result, I'm just going to slightly set my face with a little bit of translucent powder. So even after setting my face with powder, I can still see this Hollywood Flawless filter showing through on my foundation, which I think is a really nice thing because that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to make you look glowing at all times. So moving into some of her face products. I have not explored her Film Star Bronze and Glow, which is one of her most popular products. I just have not gotten around to committing to it, I guess is what I should say. But like I said, I was at the Charlotte Tilbury counter this weekend, and I did get something that I had really been eyeing and I thought would be fun to use in this video because I don't see a lot of people talk about these. And they are her Instant Look in a Palette 5-minute face on the go, and that's their palettes essentially. She has two. I got the smoky version. She does have another one that is more neutral. It just got browns and neutral shimmers in it. I went for this one because I don't know, I just like the color combo. I thought it was something a little bit different, and I wanted to kind of test out her face products before I committed to each one individually, because you get 3 eyeshadows in here, 2 blushes, a bronzer, and one of her highlighters. So, you know, instead of just buying each one of these things individually, I just thought it would be nice to use this palette in this video. So I'm just going to take the bronzer. I have tested this palette out. I used it this weekend actually on a bachelorette, and I want to give you just my quick first impression on it. It is only going to be for light medium skin tones, and I didn't really notice that initially when I saw it online. I thought it would be a little bit more versatile, but this bronzer, I mean, you can see I'm applying it. This is already my second kind of go around through the contour area, and it's light. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty light bronzer. I do have self tan on right now, and I just, you know, I felt like it was pretty light. Same thing goes for the blushes in here. They were also very subtle, and I know that they're trying to go for a specific look. The eyeshadows are supposed to be for more of a smoky eye, so I know they tried to make everything a little bit more subtle in the palette in regards to the face, but I just wanted to throw that out there because it is a fairly light palette. On the flip side, the powders blend absolutely amazing into the skin. Every powder that I have used in here has just looked really soft and seamless on the skin, so that is a plus. Just so you know beforehand, this palette is very expensive for my standards. It is a $75 palette. You do get to try several products in here, but in my opinion, should any palette be $75, especially, you know, for one on the smaller side like this? I would say no, but you know, I'm a cheapo sometimes. All right, so I'm going to take the blushes in here, and they are inspired from her Swish and Pop blushes. I don't think that's what they're called, but that's the technique she uses. So her standard blushes come with a lighter color on the outer rim and then a darker color in the middle. And what you're supposed to do is swish your brush around the lighter color and then pop the darker color on the apples of the cheeks. So I'm actually going to try that technique because she did put 2 colors in here for that purpose. So I'm going to take the Swish color, which is I mean, you guys, this is like a nude blush color, and I'm just going to just kind of swish that all over, kind of bring it up to my hairline. And it does give off a fair amount of color, but I think you can understand where I'm coming from when I say that if you have darker skin than me, this is definitely not going to show up on you. So I'm just going to bring that up, and then I'm going to take more of a concentrated brush and pick up the pop color, and I'm going to pop it on the apple of my cheek. All right, so before I actually go in and use the highlighter in this palette, I actually just want to take a little bit of the Flawless filter again. Like I said, I want to try it on top of foundation just to see what kind of effect it has. I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'm going to tap that on the high points of my face. I saw her do this on a few clients, and it looked really nice. So I'm just going to use this kind of like an under base for the powder highlight. All right, really nice. I have to say that I do like the way that looks on top of foundation. Now, I am a fan of cream and liquid highlights on top of your foundation just because I feel like it brings that realistic vibe back into the skin. But, yeah, overall, me likey. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the highlighter in the palette. This is actually a smaller version of her Bar of Gold highlight, which is the super popular highlighter I always see on her website and on Beautylish. It's shaped like a bar of gold and it's always sold out. But if you get this palette, this is actually the same product, just in a smaller version. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit on my fan brush and I'm going to tap that over where I placed the Hollywood Flawless filter. All right, so I'm going to use the shadows from the Smokey Eye palette, and I don't actually own any of her individual eyeshadow quads. It seems like people either love those or they hate them, and I just haven't fully committed yet. That's another reason I wanted to go with this palette, just to, you know, try her eyeshadow formula out and see how I liked it. So I've already used these shadows. I used them for a bachelorette party this weekend, and I really like the way that they performed. They lasted all night, and they actually looked really pretty. So I am just going to go by the book with the shadows. She always numbers her shadows, and there's always kind of like a little map to show you how to use the eyeshadow colors, and she's normally by the book. What you see is what you get. So the first shade is called Brightening, and normally with the brightening shade, I feel like in her tutorials she just takes kind of like a fluffy brush and just kind of uses that as a base and just applies it all over the lid. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm just kind of gonna focus it on the lower portion of my lid and then just bring the excess up on my brow bone. Next up is the shade called Enhance, and it's just a soft matte traditional kind of taupey brown, and I'm going to use this in my crease. I'm using it on a Zoeva 227 brush, and I'm just going to softly define a little bit of the outer corner of my eye and also my crease. Something that I love about her eyeshadows is I do feel like they are very user-friendly, and she doesn't have crazy eyeshadow techniques. She really has this simplicity to a lot of her products, eyeshadows included, to where you don't have to go over the top. You don't have to apply a million colors, yet her formula always seems to be really stunning. And even though you're just using a few colors, they always seem to stand out and make a statement. So I can appreciate that about her products, that they just aren't, you know, just gimmicky and, I don't know, trendy, I guess. She really still has that artistry vibe to a lot of her things. Before I start smoking out my eyes, I'm going to take one of her eyeliners. It's called the Eye Powder Pencil. I love this product. I have owned it for a very long time, and it's basically a powder eyeliner formula just in pencil form. So you'll notice if you do ever try this out, when you apply it, it doesn't really apply like your standard Urban Decay eyeliner or Maybelline eyeliner. It's not a gel formula. It actually is very silky, very smooth, and that's because it's just a really compact pressed powder formula in pencil form. I know that sounds really, really weird, but it's so user-friendly if you're not good at applying liner, because it blends out almost into like a shadow. If you just take your finger and kind of smudge it like I'm doing right now, it almost just looks like a shadow on your eyes. So I'm a really big fan of this just because I'm not a huge eyeliner fan, and I think it looks really natural, and it's also very user-friendly. She has two shades. The one I have is, I think it's called, is it called Audrey? I think this one's called Audrey. I think I've used so much of it, I've sharpened the name off of it, but I think she has Sophia and Audrey, and this one I'm almost 100% positive is Audrey. Now that I've got the liner down, I'm going to start smoking everything out, and I'm going to take the black in here, which is called Smoke, and on just a pencil brush, I'm going to start kind of defining the outer part of my lid. If you watch anytime I do a Smokey Eye, this is kind of the technique that I use. I like to start at the lash line and then just kind of gradually build my way up. For just a little bit more precision, I'm just going to take a small blender brush. This is kind of like a no-name brush, and I'm just going to make sure everything is blended and also just kind of blend a little bit of the excess into my crease. All right, so I kind of just want to keep this daytime smoky appropriate, so I'm just going to reapply the enhancer shade with a flat brush just to kind of go back over that and make sure we didn't lose any intensity. And I'm also going to apply that to my inner corner. And then to add a little bit of definition to my lower lash line, I'm going to pick up Enhance, which is the taupey brown, and I'm just going to slightly smoke out the lower lash line. All right, so I put on lashes mainly because I had originally planned to anyways, and I didn't obviously have the Charlotte Tilbury mascara. So here is kind of like my daytime smoky look using the palette. I love these colors. When you look at this palette, honestly, it doesn't look like, you know, it's going to be anything crazy, but it's just so practical. And if you wanted to tone this down, you don't even have to use the black. These two shades are perfectly fine to create a really nice soft daily wear look. Blushes, good and neutral. The highlighter, again, a neutral color, something that I think would work for the light to medium skin tone range, and same thing goes for the bronzer. I would like to try out the other face palette now that I have used this a little bit more and actually like it. So maybe in the future we'll see that, but yeah, overall, I'm a fan. All right, so to finish everything off, we're gonna move into lips, and let's start with her lip cheats. Her lip cheats are her lip liners, and I am obsessed. They are literally my favorite lip liners on the planet. I only own 3, but these are just the only 3 I feel like I will ever need in my entire life, although I would buy all of them if I could. The 2 that are my most used, mainly because they are more of the older shades. The third one I have is a newer shade, Iconic Nude and Pillow Talk. These are the 2 that I always wear. I am a repeat offender. I keep these in my purse. Pillow Talk is her most popular. It's a nice neutral pink. And then the Iconic Nude is a nice warm brown nude. And I love these. I wear them constantly. But while I was at the counter this weekend, I picked up a new shade, which is called Supersize Me. And it's more of a... it's kind of like Pillow Talk, but it's a shade darker and it has a little bit more brown in it. So maybe if Pillow Talk and Iconic Nude had a baby, it might be Supersize Me. The lipstick I like to pair with Pillow Talk is called Penelope Pink, and it's just a nice neutral pink. I love it. It's kind of like one that you can always count on. It's not too dark, not too light. It's going to match anything. And then, my prized possession lipstick is Kim KW, and this is the most perfect nude lipstick if you have a lighter skin tone like I do year round. A lot of the times it's hard for me to find a nice, good neutral nude. This is it. I pair it with Iconic Nude and I am feeling myself. I love that combo together. So what I think I'm going to do today is actually, I think I'm going to use Supersize Me since it's her newest one and you guys have seen me use Pillow Talk and Iconic Nude in plenty of tutorials. I'm going to use Supersize Me and then I may actually mix Penelope Pink and Pillow Talk together. We'll see. Bye.